Loses a close tough fight to Terrence. Crawford, I don't know, but has gotten older. Is grown out of. Division, I'm just saying. Yeah, so is Terrence Crawford. He can't make the weight, but so is Terrence Crawford. I picked. Terrence Crawford cause he started 135. Floyd started 130. He turned pro. His 130 pounds. I mean, Max really has earned the right to an opinion, and his current opinion is that Terrence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there's a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport, but I'm the same as Maximum. I'm a fan. Good. Crawford is, you know what I mean? Especially being, what is he, 38? Something like that. Yeah, 38. So, listen to what he done in the manner he did it, moving up 2 weights. Yeah. What in my opinion, in my humble opinion, one of the greatest in to do it. Max Kellerman breaks down the highly anticipated Mayweather versus Crawford clash, highlighting the contrast in their careers. He notes that Floyd carefully selected opponents to protect his record, which gave him a deep resume, but often drew criticism. On the other hand, Terrence Crawford never avoided challenges, facing whoever stepped up and consistently proving himself. Despite Mayweather's legacy, Kellerman leans toward Crawford, believing his fearless approach and willingness to fight anyone give him the edge.
It's wild, because if you look at Floyd's resume, it's much deeper than Crawford's. And Floyd was faster and he had a better defense and all that stuff. But Floyd picked and chose when he fought guys, especially once he left lightweight. He wiped out the junior lights, bring him. Lightweight, he jumps up to Jose Luis Castillo first thing. A lot of people think he lost the first fight, I didn't, but then he won the rematch. But once he left lightweight, he was careful about when he fought guys. So even though his resume is deeper with names, people remember, yeah, but he didn't want it with certain dudes at certain times. Crawford, we all witnessed, even though the resume is thin in certain ways, he wanted it with everyone the whole time. Oh, yes. That makes a difference to people.
Max Kellerman has been consistent in questioning whether Floyd Mayweather truly deserves to be ranked number 1 on the pound-for-pound list. While acknowledging Floyd's technical brilliance, Kellerman argues that achievements alone do not make him the best of all time. In his analysis, he draws attention to Terrence Crawford, who has captured titles across 4 different divisions, a feat that places him in the same conversation as Manny Pacquiao. Pacquiao's legacy was defined by moving up weight classes while conquering champions along the way, and Kellerman believes Crawford mirrors this path. To him, it shows that greatness is not about maintaining an undefeated record, but about daring to take risks across divisions and facing the toughest opposition available.
Guys, no one has ever been a 4-division champion in boxing. Not a real one. Oh, Pacquiao won 8 and Oscar De La Hoya won 11 and this one won 15. No, I'm talking about Ring Magazine champ or lineal champ. You are the champion of that division. Manny Pacquiao was the first dude to really win 4. Floyd gets credit for 4 for beating Canelo, but that wasn't at the junior middleweight limit. I don't count that. I don't count that. Terrence Crawford just joined Manny Pacquiao as the only legit 4-division champion in the history of boxing. And he did.
In another sharp critique, Kellerman emphasized that Mayweather carefully managed his career to maintain his undefeated record. He pointed out that Floyd often chose opponents who were either past their prime or strategically less threatening. Early in his career, Mayweather was celebrated for his sharp defensive style and skill. But later, he prioritized fights that offered more financial gain than competitive challenge. This shift led to criticism that his perfect record was more of a business plan than proof of absolute dominance. Kellerman's point is that while Floyd was great, his matchmaking strategy diluted the value of his zero because fans wanted to see him in genuine danger, not in calculated mismatches.
Floyd was fighting everyone right up until the point where he started to make money. But as much credit as you get for making, the primacy of business, for making business your priority, well, that comes with trade-offs, because when you make business decisions constantly, sometimes your athletic achievements won't be regarded in the same way as if you made athletic achievements your priority. That said, Mayweather has accomplished a tremendous amount athletically. But the three fighters he didn't fight, Antonio Margarito, Manny Pacquiao, when he was obliterating De La Hoya, Hatton, and Cotto, and Shane Mosley when he still had something left. And while he will wind up fighting Pacquiao and Mosley, it'll both be, at the right time for Floyd. That said, what about at the right time? Floyd, he's also ancient. A fighter approaching 40, fighting at the level Mayweather is fighting, is unheard of. Mayweather, until recent times, would be considered one of the greatest older fighters. That would be the whole story. Oh my God, can you believe how old Mayweather is? It's a little bit unfair to Floyd to say, well, you're picking these guys at the right time. Floyd is old.
Kellerman's praise for Terence Crawford as possibly the greatest pound-for-pound fighter of all time sparked backlash from some fans and analysts who remain loyal to Mayweather's legacy. Critics argued that Kellerman was too quick to elevate Crawford and that his career still has more to prove. Yet, former UFC star Charles Sonnen defended Kellerman's right to voice his perspective. Sonnen emphasized that analysts and fans alike are entitled to make bold claims when they genuinely see greatness. He explained that Kellerman's stance should not be dismissed as biased, but respected as an informed opinion from someone who has watched boxing evolve over decades. In this way, Sonnen highlighted the healthy debate within combat sports where differing perspectives fuel discussions on who truly belongs in the conversation for greatest of all time.
Max really has earned the right to an opinion. And his current opinion is that Terence Crawford is the greatest of all time. Now, I will tell you, Max is a fan. I can relate to this. I got in there and I did the sport, and there are times that there is a credibility that will come along with me for having done the sport. But I'm the same as Max. I'm a fan. I stopped off and had a career doing it, but I started as a fan during my time in that career, and now I'm a fan. And Max was a little heavy on Canelo. Now, when I say it was a little heavy, it just surprised me as such an expert, as a guy that knows everything. I mean, Max knows the amateurs. He knows what Usyk did in the Olympic Games and the World Championships and the Golden Gloves before that, and he knows everybody else as well. I was a little surprised, if I'm being fair, at how much he thought Canelo was a great fighter. That part did surprise me. But just because Canelo has been beat doesn't mean he's not. It's interesting. Canelo's had some really hard fights, and by the way, he's had a lot of them. There's not usually a time in boxing where a guy can have anything but a 0 in his loss column, and the guy can still get over. Not only was that not the case, Canelo was valued just dollar and cents at 10 times more valuable than Crawford. Oh, by the way, Crawford is the only one that showed up with an undefeated record. And I must admit, some of those losses that Canelo had seem like the kind of thing that would really slow a guy down.
The reports of Terence Crawford beginning the journey to undisputed status at middleweight were met with both excitement and skepticism, having already dethroned Canelo Alvarez, who was regarded as the face of modern boxing. Crawford has little left to prove in terms of legacy. By beating Canelo, he shattered the narrative that only size and strength could stop him. Analysts suggest there is nothing more Crawford needs to do because he has already taken down the most marketable and powerful figure in the sport. Yet, the pursuit of undisputed status at 160 pounds shows his hunger to challenge himself further. If he succeeds, he would enter rare territory, cementing his reputation as a fighter who constantly raises the bar, rather than settling once he has achieved greatness.
Anti-climaxing for him to drop back down because you already reached the height. You already slayed the giant. And essentially that's what Terence Crawford has already done. He slayed the giant, okay? Anything else he can do is going to be anti-climaxing. Nobody else he can fight Canelo Alvarez is 63 wins, 3 losses, 2 draws, 39 wins by way of knockout. Canelo Alvarez is the face, or was the face, of the sport of boxing, right? And you defeated him and outclassed him. Everybody expected you to get knocked out. It was a money grab. It wasn't realistic. And you achieved it, right? There's nothing else you can do but one thing. And as I stated, you can put your crown so high on the pedestal, it's almost impossible to reach. And I stated that becoming undisputed in another glamour division in 2 fights, because it really doesn't matter who Terence Crawford fights at this point in time. There is no name that's going to garner him the traction and attention that he got from fighting Canelo. If he fights Ron Ennis, it's not going to do it. Virgil Ortiz, not going to do it. None of those guys, anybody would put against Canelo Alvarez and say that they would beat Canelo Alvarez. So now he would be expected to beat everybody. Okay? Sebastian Fundora, the Towering Inferno, because of the size difference, he's 6'6", 80 plus inch arm reach, right? At fighting at 154 pounds, that would be attractive.
When the discussion turns to the greatest of all time, Kellerman firmly rejects the idea that Mayweather automatically holds that position. He argues that Floyd never took the kind of risks that define legends. While his technical perfection is undeniable, Kellerman believes that greatness requires more than defensive mastery and financial success. Legends like Muhammad Ali and Roberto Duran risked their legacies by fighting the best regardless of timing or advantage. In Kellerman's eyes, Mayweather did not embody that same fearless spirit. This is why he pushes back against the narrative of Floyd as the greatest and instead looks to fighters like Crawford who continue